Hey, welcome to Canvas Kids. This week we're going to be doing a giraffe. So this is what it's going to look like. So everybody should have it all traced out on their canvas. And the first thing we're going to do is take some white and a little bit of this color called ochre. It's like a goldish yellow color. And we're going to make a lighter color. Going to mix it pretty good. Okay. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint all of his head. Don't go into the eyes and try not to get it in that spot right there. But go ahead and paint his head. You don't have to do the little horns on his head. I don't know what those are called, but you don't have to paint those either. So just make sure you don't get it in the eyes. If you go over the nostrils, don't worry about it. You can just go over them because we're going to paint over the top with dark brown anyway. So you can just cover those up. In fact, even there, you could just go right over that spot. There's a little part of his mouth right underneath the branch too. Don't forget that part. And if you go over the lines, it's okay. We're going to go back over them with the blue for the background, which should cover this up. Just do your best. Now you can go ahead and take a small brush and just use plain white and try to paint in where the eyes are. You can go ahead and paint the whole thing. So just paint it kind of lightly so you can still see the lines underneath, because we're going to put the other colors on top of it. If you get some of the giraffe color, oops, don't worry about it. Julia went over with the whites. Let me fix that. All right. Now we're going to take the same color that we already had, and I'm going to use the skinny brush and add a little bit more of this ochre color to it because we want to darken it up a little bit. Want it a little bit darker. darker for the body, for the neck part. Okay. Go ahead and mix it in there. And we got it a little bit darker now. And go ahead, oops, you know what? I think I'm gonna make it a little bit darker even. Once I put it next to the other one, it looked too similar. So just mix it in. And go ahead and paint the neck between all of the spots. And if you go over the lines, little piece up there, if you go over the lines, it should be okay, because we're going to go back through with the darker brown, and that's what the spots are going to be. Around the spots, well, no, the spots are the dark brown. So we're going to cover the lines up if we went over the lines anyway, okay? So go ahead and just paint the neck in between the spots. Sometimes it's kind of hard when you're tracing it. The paper moves, the lines might be off a little bit. So if they are, just do the best you can lining them up. Especially with the giraffe's neck. There is no right or wrong, because all giraffes have different patterns on their necks, on their whole body. All right, so once you get the neck all the way done, I'm going to take just some of the straight ochre color, and I am going to outline the ears just to darken them a little bit so they don't look so plain. Okay, so just go around and make one little line with that around there like that. All right. So now what we're going to do is take the brown, and we're going to paint all the brown spots, all the parts that are brown. So the first thing I'm going to do is paint his horns up at the top. I'm going to actually turn this around. That way I'll be able to reach it better. Now the other one. All right, now the branch. You want a fairly small brush for this part. Okay, I'm going to turn them around to get to the other side of the branch. Oh, you know what? I forgot his little spot up here on his head. He also has 2 eyebrows that are going to be done in black. I didn't trace them. You guys will have to just draw them yourself with the, well, paint them yourself. Got to be a little too much detail to have to trace. All right, so paint your branch. And if it doesn't line up right, just go over it with your brown. Because once you paint your brown over the lines, you're not going to see the lines anymore. Too dark of a color. So if you have to fix it a little bit, there you go. Now we're going to do all the spots on his neck. So paint all of these in with the brown. And if you get some of the background color in it of his neck, it's okay. It matches. You could wait for it to dry in between the different steps. Okay, just like that. Now he has a little part in his mouth that is brown, but it's a little hard to get to. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to kind of outline his mouth instead. So just make a little outline around. Just like that, to make it look like he is biting into the branch. So you can kind of see his mouth more. All right. Now while that is drying, we're going to do the background. of the way. And for that, we're going to need the blue and the white. So let me take a bunch of white, put it in there. And now I'm going to take a little bit of blue, not too much at a time, depending on how dark you want your background. But remember, blue is very dark. It goes a long way. So start out adding a little bit at a time till you get the color sky that you want for the background. So this is lighter than the one I did to begin with. I'm going to add a little bit more. You could mix it separate like this, or you could take where you dip your brush in the white first and then you add a little bit of blue to the end. It's up to you how you want to do it. I did it the other way last time, but this time I'm going to do it this way. Okay. I'm going to wipe all that extra blue paint off of my brush before I put it in the water so my water isn't so full of paint. Okay, so now I'm going to take my bigger flat brush, because in the big areas it'll be a lot quicker. So I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to paint the whole background for the sky. You could wait for yours to dry, your giraffe neck to dry, because you don't want to smear the colors together, which could happen very easily. So if I were you, I would wait. I can't, but that's okay. So go ahead and paint the whole background sky the blue. Now you're going to want to switch to a smaller brush when you are around the other shapes. Now I'm not going to worry about covering mine as well as you're going to cover yours. I don't want you to have to wait that long for me. But when you do this and you go around these leaves, you are going to hide the lines for the stems. But you'll be able to figure out where they are. So you can go back afterward and put them in. If you made your blue light enough, you might still be able to see the stem lines. If you can't, it's not a big deal. You could just make your own. You could figure out where the stems go. I'm not going to do this super neat just because I don't want to make this go so long, make you have to hang on to the video so long. So I'm going to try to kind of rush it a little bit, but you don't have to. I'm just doing it so your video isn't so long. So do the whole background. Don't go over into your tree like I just did, your branch. And if you want it to be more variation in colors, the other way would do it more so, by dipping it in the white and then the blue. I will show you what I mean by that. So what you could do, which is what I wrote down on the instructions, so it's up to you how you want to do the sky, but what you could do is put the white on your paper plate, but you dip it in the white. So you have white on your brush, then you don't put your finger in it like I did, and then you take the end of your brush and you dip it in the blue a little bit, And when you do that and you put it on here, so you have the more variations of color, and it'll look different. See? But it's up to you. You can do it however you want. Just choose which way you want to do it, and then just keep doing it that way, okay? So I have 2 different ways that I did it, but you don't want to do it 2 different ways on your canvas. Just stick with one way. I'm actually going to switch to my smaller brush now and do all these little bits. You can also decide if you want to paint one direction or paint different directions depending on how you want the finished look to be. They just both look different, but you can decide what you like the look of better. And try to take your time so you don't go over his head like I just did. Okay, let me just try to hurry a little bit. Take your time and finish yours. Do it nice and neat. Don't hurry to just finish like I am so we can move on. Remember, you always can pause the video as well. Okay, actually I'm going to leave this sideways like this because I'll be able to reach everything better. Okay, so now that we have the blue, what I'm going to do is first wipe off the paint off my fingers, is take a little bit of white. I'm going to use the little brush. So take a little bit of your white and a tiny bit of the blue. You want to make a very, very, very light colored blue. So really, really light baby blue, like that. And you're going to want to do this middle part of the eye that's underneath. The top part is going to be white, then it's going to be this light blue, just like if you look at your eyes. Part of it's white, and then you have the color of your eyes, and then the center is going to be the pupil, which is the black part. All right, so just make a very light blue and paint that part of the eye. And now we're going to take the green, and you don't even have to put it on a dish, just use it right out of the cup, and paint your leaves. I need a bigger brush. That one was a little too tiny. You would want to wait for your blue to dry first before you go on. So go ahead and paint your leaves when you're done, when you're waiting after it's dry, if you're done waiting for it to dry. Two more. Now I went over the line with my brown, so what I'm going to do is go over it with the green, kind of balance it out a little bit. That's fine. All right, so that's all with the green. And I'm going to take my real skinny brush again. And I'm going to take the black. I'm going to do this so I can reach it better. And now you're going to paint the inside of the eye. The eye's black. Just like that. If you can't quite see the lines, you can figure out where it goes. Okay, and then try to take the skinniest brush you have too, so you can outline. This is not going well with mine today. Make sure yours is dry. So outline the eyes. Do it nice and neat. And then also paint in the nostrils. And now he needs his eyebrows. Make him a couple eyebrows. And it's up to you, you can make some eyelashes too. Now, while that is drying, we've got a little brown because we need to make the stem. So take the brown and make a stem from your leaf to your branch. Actually, I can still see the line for these. Try to make them skinny. Okay. Also want to try to take it as skinny as you can. You want to outline this part of his face. Just kind of accents his head a little bit, his face. Just like that. Okay. Now you want to take your white. Make sure you have all the colors off the brush. You just take the skinny brush that you have, and you're just going to take some white, and you're going to make a few highlights. Now make sure yours is all dry before you make the highlights. You're going to make a few highlights on yours. You're going to make a little mark up there. Going to put a little on the leaf. Just making a little accent, a little highlight, like the sunlight shining on it. All right. Now I'm going back to the brown. When your background is all dry, you need to make his little fur sticking out. See how I got this right here? You need to make him some fur from his back of his neck. So take a skinny brush. You could either start at the top or start down. And just kind of make some skinny lines like that coming out to make it look like it's the fur sticking up on the back of his neck. I don't know if it's called a mane on a giraffe, like it is on a horse. I'm not really familiar enough with giraffes. All right, just like that. And you are all done. Oops, you know where? I forgot a spot. I don't think I traced that on anybody's thing. There, he had a little spot right over here on his head. All right. If you don't have it, don't worry about it though. They don't all have to be exactly the same. All right, so we are all done and the giraffe is finished. Next week, we are going to be doing a turkey. So see you then.